I like to think, I like to say that I've, thought globally but acted locally. And my roots, pun intended, are from Schoharie County. So I'm actually originally born in Cobleskill. And I went on and I did travel around the country. I lived in the Pacific Northwest for a while. I lived in Florida for a bunch of years. And, honestly, came back home to, after traveling around a bit to try to see if I can do something here locally, and foster the appreciation of trees and get people to like them. And, what better than your own home ground? And I liked it around here. And, honestly, the Arboretum was a big part of that. When I was in college, I volunteered out here at the Arboretum, and I always thought it'd be a really cool spot to work. Um, Going back even further, like I said, my first connection to plants, my parents were plant people, um, in the sense of they group our whole family grows plants well. We all have, we don't just have green thumbs, we have green fingers. So the whole family just grows plants real well. Nature, and that kind of always made sense to us all. My parents did not do it professionally. They did it. My mom was a flower gardener, just did it for passion, love. My dad did it more from a feed the family standpoint, like grow veggies, and they grew them well. So I grew up with that kind of a, I grew up in that kind of a household, surrounded by nature, and with that big oak and a creek in my backyard. And I like to say, a lot of big tree hunters stories, you know, start with a big tree. And my, big tree hunter story sort of started with two big trees. Um, the big one that I mentioned that was growing in my, behind my childhood home. And the other one was here at Landis Arboretum, the great oak that I eventually got married under. But when I was a young kid, I came to see that big oak tree as well. And it had blown my mind. It was like one of the oldest in the state. Uh, and just an incredible plant. And I saw that as a very young age as well. And I always, so that it left an impression in my brain. And then when I was in college, I really enjoyed working out here, volunteering out here. And then oddly, they offered me a job as a horticulturist, which I refused, because I declined, because I actually had made arrangements out in the Pacific Northwest to go work at the nursery and see the redwoods, and I wanted to live in that area and kind of see the redwoods, see the Cascade Mountains, do some crazy hikes out there, and even some summer skiing, and living that life for a while. But then I came back around, and then the job actually came up again. The person that was here left, and I ended up interviewing, and been here 28 years now. So I guess serendipity plays a role. And was it planned to stay in Schoharie County? No, no. The plan was actually to live in the Pacific Northwest. But sometimes by a simple twist of fate, things happen, and um, I couldn't have planned this. I could have not. I could have. There's no way to have planned what actually I ended up doing. My plans would have been, I don't think, even close to as good as the non-planning that occurred. Um, so yeah, it worked out really well. So Schoharie County, it's a great site, and it's got, like I said, some great soils, and it's got fantastic, some fantastic trees, both publicly accessible and also on private lands, and a lot of state champions over the years, and some national champions too. And we're still looking.